Hi everyone, this is James from Lingua Materna. Today, in this video, I'm going to talk a little bit about speaking challenges and the role that they can play in your language learning. And the reason I want to discuss this topic today is that I've actually recently completed a 30-day speaking challenge to practice my Russian. So, for those of you who don't know, a speaking challenge is basically a challenge where you practice speaking your target language every day for a set period of time. It could be 30 days, it could be a week, it could be longer, it could be shorter. And you record yourself in some form. That could be a video or it could be an audio file. And you keep this record every day, and you're trying to maintain this streak of speaking each day, or maintain this consistency to help you improve your speaking. And as I mentioned, I recently took part in a 30-day speaking challenge to work on my Russian at the invitation of my friend Jonathan from Huggins International. And we just finished that speaking challenge yesterday. So I wanted to record this video to share some of my thoughts while they're fresh in my mind. I have a blog post coming out later this week which will talk about 9 different things I've learned from the experience of the speaking challenge. But in this video I really want to focus on what the speaking challenge gave me that I wouldn't have otherwise had in my language learning over the past month. How it affected my learning and the type of learning I did. And it had a really positive impact. And the reason is, prior to the speaking challenge, for the last couple of months I've been taking 2 Russian classes per week, and this was really my output in my practice, the time where I was actually using the language to speak or to form sentences myself. And most of the rest of my time in recent months had been focused on things like reading, on learning vocabulary, and on listening. So I was still doing a decent bit of speaking. I was getting in 2 to 3 hours every week of interaction and output in Russian, but I wasn't doing it every day. And what this challenge helped me do was to really practice outputting the language every day. So instead of just listening and learning new vocabulary, I was able to practice using them. And this really helped me, in particular with the Russian cases, which I've been revising recently. I was able to work on memorizing some of the situations in which you'd use the particular cases or the endings for particular cases, and then go out and actually practice using them the same day in the videos I was making. And this is something that you can apply to any language, in terms of if you have to learn particular tenses or verb conjugations. A challenge like this gives you an opportunity to go and actually use what you're learning and output it. And I think that's something that's really key, because there really is a difference between input and output when it comes to language learning. And I felt that the challenge helped me to kind of rebalance the input and output in my learning and give myself more output. And that really has helped me feel more confident with my Russian. And it's helped me activate a lot of things that I had learned, but maybe I wasn't ready to use. So over the course of the last couple of months, when, as I said, I'd been doing a lot of listening and reading, I've learned a lot of words, but I'd never really done much to use these words. I'd use them in some conversation during my lessons, but this was only 2 or 3 times a week. So instead I was starting to use the words every day, and when you speak and you output every day, number one, the words stick better. They're easier to remember because you're repeating them more regularly. And number 2, you start to think in the language. It starts to feel more natural. So if you go and look at some of my Russian challenge videos, and I encourage you to do that even if you don't speak any Russian, I think you'll see, from day 1 when we recorded an introduction about ourselves to day 28 when we re-recorded an introduction, that there's a huge difference in the level of fluency I was able to bring to the video. I was able to express my thoughts more clearly. I was able to just to speak without so much hesitation. I didn't speak very fast, but by the end, I think you'll see that I was able to speak with much better flow. And this is something that you can achieve by doing something like a speaking challenge, speaking every day, and actually, using your mouth and your throat to make the sounds, to actually, practice and get yourself used to making those sounds and to putting the sentences together rather than just learning words, to actually creating sentences. And this is really important, and the challenge certainly helped me to do that. And it's something that I would encourage any of you who feel that you need to, maybe reactivate a language that's a bit rusty, or who want to improve your speaking skills in your target language. I would really encourage you to participate in a challenge like this. And the good news is that Jonathan has decided to run another one of these challenges beginning on May 1st. So I would strongly encourage any of you who want to improve your speaking skills to get involved in that. I will include details in this post and in the description below this video, so that you can do that. And if you're learning English in particular, there's going to be a particular TOEFL challenge which I think you'll find particularly useful if you're working on English or if you're studying for the TOEFL exams. So I would definitely encourage you to take part. I'm going to be taking part again. I want to continue to push my Russian forward, and I hope that I'll see some of you in there. Cheers!